Mrs. Ising.
Here?
Mr. Kachasik. Here. Dr. Koshko.
Here.
Mr. Leonard is absent. Mr. Matarazzo.
Here.
Mr. Neiman.
Here.
Mr. Petrusi.
Here.
Mr. Stovall.
Here.
Dr. Trey is absent. You have one, Mr. President.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so as I have career tech report for myself, the meeting was May 16th. On May 16th was graduation. 278 kids graduated from Vo-Tech at the Westmoreland County Community College. Very nice turnout. Parents, grandparents, etc. Everything very well represented, as well as Penn, Trafford. And on our May 18th meeting, we discussed the budget proposal. Of the 8 districts that voted a budget so far, 7 have passed the Vo-Tech budget. 1 more coming yet is Greensburg-Salem. Also there, we got some attendance figures. Our attendance figures for this year, we had 14 students with perfect attendance. We had 13 students with less than 4 days. That means 25% of the kids that go to Vo-Tech didn't miss 4 days or less. And also for the, that'll be all for the Vo-Tech presentation. Okay, executive session. We also are going to have an executive session after this meeting to discuss litigation, but this, what we just got done discussing right now was personnel matters, collective bargaining, litigation matters, and purchase of real estate. The board also received information on budget matters and contract matters. Mr. Lego gave us how to cut fees for the coming up budget for 2016-17 school year. Okay, Dr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Petrusi. Tonight we have some retirees in the house. We have 5 different retirees we want to recognize. Mr. Ingles has something that he's going to read regarding each and every one, but I kind of want to show you what we gave everybody. Now I'm opening up Mrs. Howard's because she didn't show up tonight, so I have to send it to her, so I had to make sure everyone's name was on it. But we have some custodians, some nursing staff, but it says Penn Trafford School District and has their name engraved on it. So we kind of want to, every time you look at it, to kind of remember PT. So when you're not at work and you don't really have to watch the time anymore, it doesn't really matter. You can easily have a clock as your memento. And what we also like to do is instead of doing a whole cake for tonight, we have an individual cake for you, a mini tort. So I already say go home and enjoy it after the meeting, but what happened the last couple of years, a lot of the ladies started freezing it and in the freezer, and what they did was the very first day of school, they had a piece and they took a picture of that piece and sent it to me. So now I have 3. I have one from Mrs. Andrews, Mrs. Vaskoff, and Mrs. Coons. So if you are doing that, please send me a picture on the first day of school eating the piece of cake, and I'll share it with all. So I'll make sure you get it.
Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's do our first retiree, Ms. Blahovic. Could you please stand up? This is Pat Blahovic. She's been with the district for about 24 years. She began subbing in the district in 1988 and was hired part-time in the 1990s, was hired full-time in 2002. Before that, she had worked at the IU, local hospitals, and also taught at WCCC. Pat received her Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, Bachelor of Science degree and Master's in Nursing at Pitt. She's been working as a CAP sponsor at the high school. Pat said she was inspired to go into nursing because she enjoys working with and helping others. She will miss the daily contact and interaction with the students and staff. Her future plans include spending more time with the family, spoiling her grandchildren, and volunteering in the community. Pat, congratulations.
And many hours late at night, if I'm up here with a sport event or even like walking, Pat is bringing in food from the community for her CAP program, her book bag program. She was always spending extra hours volunteering. Sunday nights, Saturdays, no matter what day it is, she was up here always thinking about the kids and making sure thinking about the kids for the weekend. Her heart is big, and I'm really going to miss you. Everything you do, so I really appreciate it.
Dr. Harris has read everything that Pat has done. She did a great job in the high school. She was there the whole time I was there, and having a great nurse is unbelievable. But even bigger than what she did on a daily basis, she was always there for kids, and her heart is so big that what she did with the CAP program and got the kids involved in so much community service, just tremendous. So It's going to be very difficult to keep that up, but you know, you did a great job with the kids for so many years, and we thank you for everything, Pat. Next, we have Janice Bauer. Is Janice here? There she is. You're hiding back there. I didn't see you. Janice received her bachelor's degree from Slippery Rock in 1976 and her master's degree from Duquesne. She taught for about 6 years while home with her daughter for a total of 34 years. Previous to Penn Trafford, she was at D.T. Watson Home for Crippled Children for 5 years in Texas and at the Association for Children with Learning Disabilities. She said she's not sure what inspired her to go into teaching. She explained, "I don't like elementary school, and I tried every trick in the book to get out of school." She added that her family was surprised to hear she was going into teaching. She will miss watching the kids getting excited when they learn something new, and she enjoyed sharing her knowledge with them. She plans to travel as much as she can and already has a trip planned to London, Scandinavia, and Russia this summer. So that sounds fun.
And every time I went into her classroom, and I think she just did this to avoid me, she would put on a song and say, "Okay, now Dr. Harris, come and help me dance and sing with the kids." And I'm like, "Oh, you know, I'm pretty busy today," so I would kind of stop going to her room after a while. So I don't know if that was just her little trick or something, but I kind of caught on. And I bet you're gonna have that song that was it the Toonie Talk? Is that going to be in your life, in your head for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
You want to do a few bars?
No.
The kids loved it when we did it, and they will miss you deep, and we'll miss you too. If you want to come up and get your... I'll see you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Donna Graham. There she is. Donna is retiring from the high school. She was our library at the high school for, how many years, Donna, were you at the high school?
Since '94, so I'm not a math major.
A lot of years. Donna received her degrees in health and physical education and library media specialist for Penn State. She worked as a student aide, classroom aide, library aide. She has also worked at the Elaine Powers Figure Salon, subbed in various school districts, and taught at the Easter Seal Society of Beaver County. When asked why she went into teaching, she said she began in physical therapy but switched to education, adding that teaching seems to run in my family. Her plans for the future include church ministry work and taking care of her family. You know, God bless her. That library, if you have been to our library the last 2 years, if you poked your head in there, on any given day we'll have in excess of 100 kids in there, sometimes 200. And she's got her hands full. Her and Mr. Conrad run it, and keeping an eye on 200 kids, and while they're all trying to buy coffee and eat cookies and spill coffee and everything else that goes on. But she did a great job for us for many years and was always there for the kids, so we appreciate everything she's done. Thank you, Donna.
I do appreciate all the support because there are a lot of kids that went over there, and you never had a cutoff limit.
No.
It just seemed like no matter when you walked in there, sometimes there could be 60 kids sitting, but they were all actively engaged. And they knew that Donna would not put up with anything if they weren't, so I really give her, she was excellent classroom management, so I really appreciate that. You kept it going. Take care.
I will.
And good luck with your knee. I'm sorry, it looks like it's getting...
Thank you. It's getting much better. Thank you.
Dave Nigro. Dave is an elementary teacher at Trafford Elementary School right now. He subbed for 2 years at St. James in Wilkinsburg and Penn Trafford before being hired at Penn Trafford, where he's taught for 26 years. He received his undergraduate degree in psychology in 1975 from Pitt and returned to Pitt in 1985 to pursue his elementary certification. He has been Trafford Elementary's tech guy for the last few years. He became interested in teaching while watching his 2 daughters grow and learn. As he says, he loved being the dad to young children. They will always be missed. They will miss being part of the team that, with what he thinks is vital and a rewarding task. After retiring, he plans to do some traveling and enjoying life. He also plans to continue to learn and teach, although he's not sure who his students will be. I'm sure you'll find out. Congratulations, Dave.
I have to add that Dave, our very first year, we did Dancing with the Teachers. He and Mrs. Eckberg won the whole category. He's an outstanding dancer.
Mrs. Eckberg.
And when he was on the stage, he commanded the stage, and his performance was outstanding. So do you want to give us a sample?
I just did. That was it.
That was it. So we appreciate
I had a
everything.
wonderful part.
Everything you've done, your humor you bring to the classroom, your kids just idolized you. I really appreciate all the hard work and dedication. So thank you so much, and enjoy your mom. And now that you don't need to be anywhere, we have a clock to make sure you're there.
Fritz, is he here? There he is. Hello, Fritz. Fritz Rudenzer. It's Fred, right?
I go by Fritz. Fred's my name, man. Fred's my name when you pay me.
I saw your name. I saw your name on paper as Fred. I didn't know who it was.
That's Mr. Harrison. Excuse me, Dr. Harrison.
All right, Fritz. Fritz worked as a sub-custodian in Penn Trafford School District for 4 years, working in every school in the district before being hired full-time in 2006. He has been at the high school ever since then. He received his education in the U.S. Army Engineer Corps in construction. His plans for the future include enjoying his family and pursuing his hobby of real and model trains. So good luck with
Right.
that. Congratulations, Fritz.
Thank you.
And Fritz, up to the very end, very hard worker, gave it all he got, and you never had a complaint, and he was always in a good mood. That was always the nice thing about you. You always had a smile. I really appreciate
I'm really
it.
smiling now.
Now, now you can really enjoy it. And I appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you. And we're going to take a short break. You have your camera, Georgia?
I didn't know, but I brought it.
We have a picture for the press and our press, Georgia. And then we have cupcakes, and then we're going to right back to our meeting. So the retirees can come up, and I know we have your yellow wall boxes.
No, we can do it here.
You can do it there?
Yeah.
The retirees can come up front. To have a construction update, Hank, our architecture, if you can come up and give us an update.
How about
Oh,
if I...
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'll start it. How's that?
Okay.
Just to give you a little overview, we have basically 4 areas that are getting extensive work right now in the project. All the locker room areas in the phys ed area are getting extensive overhaul, so those things are getting gutted and they're a real mess right now. The kitchen area and cafeteria area is getting a major overhaul, brand new kitchen actually, so we're hopeful that'll be, it's moving along quite well right now, but it's a big improvement that we'll have there. The pool area, we did a lot of work there. We demoed some walls. We replaced some of the ceiling and the locker room areas in that area. And we're also looking into regrouting that floor there potentially at some point. So a lot of work in that pool to be done yet. We also are doing a lot of work on the site in terms of we still have some paving to do. We have the parent drop-off loop in front of the athletic office that's under construction right now. So a lot of work that's going to be done this summer. There's a lot of inconvenience right now in terms of summer programs and activities and different programs that are running right now. So we're bringing everybody through the back entrance to keep them out of the construction area. But we're hopeful that everything will be done come the completion date on August 18th. So that's where we're at. We have 4 change orders, not too much. It's about almost $6,000 worth of change orders. You guys want to talk about it?
Yeah, $6,000 in change orders. We deleted the stair treads and risers on the back stairs at the auditorium, and then also the back stairwell leading from the garage up to the back entrance by the pool. So you have received a credit for that. There's hand dryers in the tech ed restrooms in area C. Those need to be installed. That would be the dryers and then the installation and the electrical for them. Penn Trafford had requested we change the smoke detectors in the gym to heat detectors because the original...
in the gym annex, the annex, the space below the gym is where that's happening, where Jim Bracco has all of his equipment and whatnot. The request came from him to change from smoke detectors to heat detectors down there to deal with some of the tractors that he wants to run, to take things in and out down there.
And then last but not least, we had to relocate some electrical outlets in the trainer's room. They were below where the casework was supposed to go, so we had to lift them up. So other than that, we're good to go.
So it's about $5,900 in change orders. Our contingency sits at about $250,000 right now. We do anticipate some change orders that we're waiting for pricing on some things over the next couple of weeks. We do not have a board meeting in July, so we may be asking the board, or may ask you to authorize me to approve some of these change orders and then get some formal approval of these in August. But just so everybody knows, there will be some change orders that we'll have to push through since there's no board meeting in July. So just want to give you a heads up on that. Is that it?
Yep, so far, there's a lot to do this summer, but the schedule seems to be moving along, and they seem to be keeping up with it. So, like Scott said, everybody's anticipating that the contractors finish on time.
We just took a walk around the building. There's still
A decent amount to do.
If you recall, this time, August of last summer, the building looked much like this it does right now, and they got done. So contractors said they're used to this, working under the gun, but you know, I don't want to kid everybody and think everything's going to be perfect. I'm sure there'll be some issues that we'll have when school starts, but we don't anticipate any delays in school or anything of that nature as a result of the construction.
The contractors that do this type of work are used to the compressed schedules that school work requires them to do over the summer. So they are used to doing this type of work in the 2.5-month period when the students are gone. So as it looks to the rest of us, that's something that they're used to doing and something that they're used to completing and getting school started again.
we walked around again. The library looks excellent. The auxiliary gym, the band room, the auditorium. The band room is really big. Really big improvement on that. Hope the swimming pool area turns out as good as the rest of it turned out. Because that aqua club is always on our case about the swimming. Always. That's all, Scott.
That's it. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And last, under information, volleyball. I know you've probably seen the text messages and the items we keep sending it out, but the next game, they're down to the final four. They play Penn Manor at Chambersburg High School, Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. It has been very exciting for the team. Coach Shaw and the boys have been doing an outstanding job. It's been a great season. And if they win this Wednesday, they make it to the finals on Saturday at Penn State at 1 o'clock. So it's a great season and a lot of magic in there.
This is the furthest any of our athletic teams ever gone. Semifinals of the state. They're strong.
And it's also hard with the timing of the season too, being the school ended, having to keep going, but we keep trying to announce it and keep trying to get our publicity out there, because it's great for the boys and the coach and the team. They really deserve it.
Yeah, old term, Final Four.
All right, next week, under athletics and extracurricular, we're going to accept resignations, employee personnel, approve volunteer coaches. Under budget and finance, we're going to ask you to adopt the 2016-17 school district budget, grant permission to advertise for items requiring competitive bidding for 2016-17, authorization to pay end-of-the-year invoices and make end-of-the-year budgetary transfers, name bank depositories for 2016-17, approve payments for credits earned, assign fund balance, approve expenditures related to the high school renovation project according to schedule, approve change orders requests, and that's kind of what they were just talking about. And before we get to the next one, number 9, since it's an action item, does anyone have public comment regarding approving the title reversion agreement for PTAR building? Does anyone have questions or concerns about that?
Those on the PTAR building, that's the old Level Green Library in the corner lot on 130 and Murraysville Road. It's going up for sale.
Because we're going to take votes right now.
Okay, budget and finance, Mr. Kachasik.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve the title reversion agreement for the PTAR building.
I have a motion by Mr. Kachasik, a second on the motion.
Second.
Second by Dr. Caution. Any question on the motion?
Question?
Question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Anybody opposed? That hurt everybody.
All right.
Motion passed.
Under buildings and ground safety, accept the retirement resignation. We won't have anything under employee relations, negotiations, and transportation. Under food service, we're going to ask you to award the food service contract And Brett, how many contracts or bids were submitted?
We received 3 bids, one from the incumbent Airmark, one from the Nutrition Group, and one from Metz. We are in the process of reviewing those proposals. We have a team of, I believe, 6 people on staff that are doing that. We'll come together, we'll see what the consensus is, and we'll be ready to award the contract next week.
Okay, thank you. Under food service, we're also going to ask you to approve breakfast, lunch prices for the 2016-17 school year. Approve the milk prices for 2016-17 school year. Under personnel and curriculum, we're going to ask you to approve additional substitute teachers and support personnel for the month of June 2016. Approve tentative assignments of professional personnel for 2016-17. Employee school physicians and dentists for 2016-17. Accept and file official ratings for 2015-16. Extend supplemental contracts. Authorize the administration to post, advertise, interview, and hire candidates for any vacancy that occurs prior to the August meeting. Long list for this night. Approve settlement agreement. Accept resignation. Approve student agreement and release. Approve intern placement. Employee summer help. And approve a textbook purchase. And the last one we have to approve for the year is for the Chemistry 1 honors. It's basic concepts of chemistry. As the cost for $21,000, it's about 165 students. Take Chemistry 1 honors. And this is according to the textbook budgeted cycle. Under policies, public relations, legislative, Title II, we're going to ask you to accept and file Information Committee meeting minutes of May 2nd, 2016. Continue roll call procedures for 2016-17. Continue bond coverage for board secretary and assistant board secretary. Approve attendance at 2016-17 conventions. Authorization to submit federal program applications. Approve participation in Drug-Free Schools and Communities Act. Adopt Attachment A of IDEA/B program narrative. Final approval of local board procedures. And tentative approval of board policies and corresponding admin regulations. And finally, under taxes, insurance, census, we're going to award all sports insurance. Award student accident insurance. Adopt a homestead and farmstead exclusion resolution, adopt a tax resolutions, set millage rate for 2016-17, and approve the $5 per capita tax. And that's all I have, Mr. Patricio.
Okay, before we go to recognition of visitors, Bob Dills, we all received your letter in the mail last week, so we all read your letter. And I see right here, these are all character references, which is very fine. Everybody, I'll read the limitations. We have 6 here. Is there anybody else who wants to speak? But you have to sign in. You must live in a district or pay taxes in a district. Okay, here are the rules. It is now time for audience recognition. The following rules are in effect. You must state your name, address, group affiliation, if any. Your statement will be limited to 5 minutes in duration. All statements shall be directed to the President, and no participant may address or question a board member individually. I may interrupt your statement if your statement is too lengthy, personally direct, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Now, what I have here right now, and just so you know, since litigation is still ongoing in this, possibility ongoing, there will be no response from any board members. You are more than welcome to speak. I will now go in order as these people signed up. I'm sorry, Bob. Oh, okay, good. I'm sorry. You have a prepared statement. Good. This is from, he's our solicitor. Mr. Brung is our solicitor.
The board asked me to advise prior to the public comment the following. On May 17, 2016, an arbitration decision was issued concerning a grievance filed by the Penn Trafford Education Association regarding the dismissal of a professional employee. That decision is currently under review by the Board of School Directors and District Administration to determine whether to pursue further action through appeal to the Westmoreland County Court of Common Pleas. As such, this board and administrative staff cannot comment on this matter with any specificity. That being said, it is important that everyone in the Penn Trafford school community understand that the Board of School Directors and District Administration have an obligation to take all necessary steps to protect district students from improper and potentially dangerous behavior, whether engaged in by other students, district employees, or third parties having access to the school setting for otherwise legitimate purposes. The safety and protection of all students, regardless of age, gender, race, or disability, is and must be of utmost importance to all employees of the district, professional and non-professional alike. Permitting any district employee, especially a teacher, to engage in conduct which fosters an inappropriate relationship with a student through gaining trust of the student as a peer, or by blurring boundaries between teacher and student, or desensitizing the student and other individuals, including fellow staff and family members of the student, cannot and will not be tolerated, regardless of the ultimate outcome. Due to recent events that have occurred in other school districts in our region, both the board and the administration believe it is their duty to consider the possibility of appealing the arbitrator's decision. Any appeal will only be filed after careful deliberation by the board and the administration. While the board is unable to comment on this matter due to the pending nature of the litigation, it will take the comments of the public into consideration as it considers whether or not to appeal the decision. In conclusion, the safety of the district's students is the highest priority of this board, and we ask the public to bear that in mind as we reach an ultimate determination in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, the first speaker, Michael Divins. Stand, please, and your address and your residence.
My name is Michael Divins. I live at 269 Hillcrest Drive in Trafford. I have no affiliation other than the grievance is my brother. So I've thought a lot about what I want to say tonight, and there's no perfect way to say it, so I'm just going to state the facts just like Mr. Brungo tried to state the facts there. An independent arbitrator who was picked by Brungo and the association decided to completely and fully go for the innocent in the case of the grievance, my brother, on all counts. Not on one, not on two. There was no waffling in the decision. He made it quickly after he was given the time of months, a year, to go through this process. It was with thought that he decided independently that there was no basis for any of this. I fully understand what was going on at the time in nearby districts and the actions that was taken by the board in the district of what they thought was best for the community, their students, and other professionals here. While I understand that was the decision made at the time, now is the time to make the decision based on the facts and the facts alone. I understand that I hope that most of you were briefed on, at least got to fully read the full analysis that was given by the arbitrator. I hope it wasn't just the district's brief or the innocence brief. There's been wide rumors of what happened, why it happened. None of that matters. He has been found completely innocent by an independent arbitrator. What this last year has been for him, I could never fully understand. I know what it's been for us and all the people that care about him. He was, by all accounts, in written testimony, a terrific teacher. Was not fired for any teaching, poor abilities. First one to in, last one to leave, involved in everything. Isn't this the type of teacher and educator that you want for other students? Someone who's involved, who's here who's willing to do this, and instead, this is the one that we decide to cast aside, to defame. I hope that all of you have the chance on your own to read this and to really understand what is said in this. And the fact that he should be here right now, fully reinstated. And the fact that he's not says a lot. I understand that there's an appeals process and there's all that, and that is every right if that's the decision that is made. We will gladly support and defend. I would like to see a judge determine that an arbitrator with 1,000 cases, 250 teacher cases, who's been doing this for years, decide that he acted in a way that an appeal is necessary. And I'm going to leave you with one other thing is, I hope that when this is over and you guys go back and you talk, that real questions are asked, that what could come next if the decision to appeal was made. Will you get this type of effort or this? Again, all I ask is that you please think about it, think what you're doing, think of who you want here and why you want this person here. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Paul Lee?
My name is Paula Lee, and I live at 508 Sandra Drive in Level Green, and I've lived in Penn Township for 30-some years. And I'm also a Norwin teacher of 38 years. My family and I have known Bob Divins since he was born. Our children grew up together, attending family, school, and social functions and vacationing together. I know the high morals and values he was raised with and has retained over the years. He is a young man of honor and integrity, and I know in my heart that he is a dedicated teacher and coach and a wonderful role model to children. There is absolutely no reason for the Penn Trafford School District to pursue any further recriminations of Bob Divins. As a taxpayer in the district, I feel that this is a total waste of taxpayer money. You've done a great injustice to Bob and his family, and now it's in our best interest as taxpayers to make complete remuneration to this young man and restore the dignity to Bob and his family. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paula. Maureen Morgan?
Good evening. My name is Maureen Morgan. I live at 128 Terrace Court in Level Green. I'm a research administrator at the University of Pittsburgh. I have known Robert Divins for over 20 years. He's an exemplary young man who is conscientious and dedicated to his family, friends, and community. His altruistic behavior towards others, along with his strong moral fiber, make him a unique individual in today's world. I hope the school board will abide by the arbitrator's decision and embrace the positive role model that Robert Divins is and always has been. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Ann Stanish?
Good evening. I'm Ann Stanish, a lifelong resident of Level Green. Went through the Penn Trafford School District. My children went through Penn Trafford School District. Lifelong friends of Bob Divins. Again, our kids grew up together. You know, you used the word boundaries in something that you read, sir, and that is a word that jumped into my mind immediately in thinking about Bobby. You know, our kids played together. I mean, you know, Bobby was older than either of my two. I mean, just a great kid, just played well, just always got along. Growing up, great attitude, great sense of humor, loved him for always. We worked together. I taught, retired after 35 years at Norwin School District, and Bobby Dan came and was a substitute teacher there. And he would come and get me for lunch when we had the same lunch schedule. And this is when the word boundaries came to me. Because, you know, you get these young kids come in and there's some of them think they're know-it-alls, and we, you know, old veterans sit back and just smile and let them talk. The kids that come in and they sit back and they listen and they learn, those are the kids that you get the respect for when they come. Those are the kids you're thinking, this guy needs to get a job. You know, this is a person that we want to work with. And Bobby Dan was just that. He always sat and didn't talk. And then, of course, after a couple times, then people get to know him and they encouraged him to be part of the conversation. Just an all-around wonderful young man from the day he was born to this day, because I have known him that entire time. As a taxpayer, I am very concerned that, well, of course, that this happened at all. But to think that there would be a possibility that more of my money would be spent on trying to incriminate this man and keep him from doing the job that he loves, from really his life. I ask you, I beg you people to please not pursue this any longer. Let this man get back to his life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Robert Codington? Codington, sorry.
In a lot of your briefs. I'm Robert Coddington. I live at 33 Country Farm Lane, Harrison City. I'm here to speak on behalf of Mr. Divens too. I was very much involved in this case. I've sat in rooms with all you before on this. The supposed victim from this whole thing is my daughter, Nicole. She happens to be sitting right here. But I have to go with, first we started with the Pledge of Allegiance here. It ends with liberty and justice for all. From day one, before the school ever notified me when this came out, I came up here and said, actually I said a statement to the principals, if there was any fact based in this at all, none of this would have happened because I would be in jail now. But this was rumor and innuendo, and the board jumped on it 2 years after it happened. When this thing was filed, my daughter was already in her first year of college studying for finals when it got dropped. But it was brought to the attention by Mr. Divens and my daughter because it was rumors that started when she was a junior at this school, when my son was a sophomore at this school. All this came out. We've been dragged through it. Mr. Divens, he was crucified. I said in the beginning it was a witch hunt. If you read the papers that are in front of you, there is not a stitch, not one, of any evidence or fact. And I agree, you do want to protect the children, but you also don't want to destroy the children. My daughter had the best days here at the high school. Went to a Catholic school, came here to high school, loved it. Graduated from here, had nothing but fond memories. Now she has nightmares over it when she sees what an administration can do to a person over rumor and innuendo. I run 3 companies. Don't mean this with any disrespect to my employees, but sometimes it's like a daycare for adults. But if you listen to rumor and innuendo and you let it build and build, and as you stated in your statement, Mr. Brungo, because of recent events, yes, if we didn't have Jerry Sandusky, we didn't have the plum issue and that, I wouldn't be standing here tonight. You guys jumped on a CYA. Better do something fast. But it was brought to your attention years before, but the way the administration has handled it has been wrong. By all legal standards, a school's never supposed to investigate a situation like this at all. The police were brought in immediately, and they were out of it within a day. They said there was no fact, there was no evidence. So if there was something, the police were never brought in. Me as a parent, with my student being the one that was involved in it, was never notified, never got a phone call from anybody in this administration. I heard everything over the news, the internet. No, actually it came from a phone call that they made to a friend of my daughter to find something out. That came back to us. But I think it's time for you guys to ruin your administration as board members. Quit wasting taxpayer money. You spent a ton on it. You lost a great teacher for a year. Now you're going to pay him for the year he's off. I think it's time to quit chasing a ghost. If there was fact, back to justice for all, it would have been brought up. If you read that report, as was stated earlier, the solicitor came, or the arbitrator came out and said he could find nothing at all. He said the testimony of me, my wife, my daughter stood out the most to him. Mr. Divins was a mentor to my daughter. She's a much better person today because of Mr. Divins. Hands down, I have nothing for that. My biggest fear is that I have a daughter starting here next year, coming from the junior high. I wish that all the teachers had the same caring and giving as Mr. Divins has. And I really hope he's back here for my other daughter. I have a 13-year-old going to be here next year, starting her high school year. And the school needs teachers like Mr. Divins that can relate to the children and all that. And you can't be sucked in by rumor and innuendo, no matter what type of witch hunt the administration's on. Like I said, if it hadn't been for the environment we're in today, this would have never even been an issue, ever. But I know you guys were trying to cover. You did what was responsible, but now it's time to bring it to an end. Save the taxpayers' money. You got a big construction project going here. There's a lot better things you can spend money on. And with that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Robert. Gina Clyden? Thanks.
You kind of said it all. I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, now, recognition is over. We're going to meet after this for the announce to the board that we have an executive session after the meeting for personnel, and the board will not reconvene after this evening. I motion for adjournment. Motion. Motion from Mr. Namick, second. Second, Ms. Hissing. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.